Roxana. One of the nurses that the doctor sent you for a genetic counseling as your mother has been diagnosed with Lynch syndrome. I understand she has gotten a positive diagnosis. How are you? Can you please tell me your name?
Hi, my name is Ms. Perez. Thank you so much for seeing me today. My mother has been diagnosed with colorectal cancer now, and her doctor decided to do a test. So then everything he explained to me just became a blur. He gave me too much information, and now I can't remember anything. Maybe you can help me understand.
Sure. As you said, your mother has been diagnosed with colorectal cancer. According to the testing and the results that we got from your doctor, she has been positive for hereditary non-polyposis colorectal cancer, also known as Lynch syndrome. This condition usually affects several genes that make it much more likely to develop certain types of cancer. The gene affects the DNA in your body, not allowing for repairs on cells, so they start accumulating in each other, and that becomes the cell's cancers. It runs in families, meaning it's inherited. That means, like, if a parent carries the gene mutation, there's also a 50% chance that the child might have it.
Does this mean that I definitely have it? Is that the reason the doctor sent me here?
Not necessarily. We want you to understand, the condition. I know it must be overwhelming with your mother's diagnosis, but this might benefit you understand the condition better. At the moment, you mentioned your mom is the only one that had a positive test. Can you tell me more about your family members?
Well, I only know about a grandmother that passed away with cervical cancer at the age of 70. And come to think of it, she also had a brother that died of colon cancer, but they were not tested back then. Should I get tested as well?
I would suggest you should, just by the information that you've given me. You might be at high risk due to all your family members having certain type of cancers. You mentioned that your grandmother passed away due to cervical cancer. The Lynch gene is also associated to other tumors affecting the endometrium, ovaries, the stomach, the small intestine, liver, and even brain cancer. In order to get a confirmed diagnosis of the condition, you might need to get genetic testing done on you, which means they'll draw some blood work, and that blood work will start to look into your cells to recognize if you carry the gene responsible for the Lynch syndrome.
I see. What would happen if the test comes back positive? Does this mean that I have the cancer too at that point?
If the test comes back positive, it does not mean you have cancer. It means you carry the gene. Therefore, we need to be proactive. Like, we want to make sure, since you're going to have a higher risk of developing colon cancer in your lifetime, we want to make sure that there's more screenings done. In this case, such important screening as a colonoscopy and endoscopy at least once a year. The earlier the better. You're a young girl, so we might as well start now if you carry the gene. Your doctor also will suggest to do follow-up with your OBGYN for endometrial and ovarian screening at least once a year, just to keep monitoring the condition and watch out for the gene and any growth that would happen.
So what would happen if the test comes back negative?
If we receive a negative result, let's say this means the mutation was not found, that means that the risk of cancer can be the same as anybody else, like any other general population. However, you did mention that your grandmother passed away, and now your mom has tested positive. So this makes a negative result misleading. You might still be at high risk.
This has been such a shock in our family. I have a sister that she doesn't even live in Miami. She lives abroad and she has 2 kids. I'm not sure how she's going to take the news.
I understand it must be very difficult.
Do you think that they should all get tested?
I understand all this news can be upsetting, especially if you have family members. It makes you worry more than normally. I would recommend that you speak to your sister and maybe any cousins that you might have. Because Lynch syndrome is an inherited condition. By doing the genetic test, we will be able to recognize the trait and the chances as well. It's better to be aware and understand each step as a prevention. Like I said, the earlier the better, and family support is greatly needed at this time. Being together can help you go through it, and especially your mom.
That's true. I'm not married yet, but what about when I decide to have kids?
Sure, it's a little complicated as the condition is an autosomal dominant inheritance, meaning that if you're the parent and you carry the Lynch gene, there is a 50% chance that your child can be born with a condition. Although there's, the chances of inheriting the gene can appear straightforward. Such factors as a person's family history, the results of the genetic testing sometimes can modify those chances, so we need to be sure. In addition, in some people, the disease causing the mutation never develops of any other health problems, and they might experience mild symptoms of the disorder. If a disease that runs in the family does not have a clear-cut inheritance pattern predicting the likelihood that a person will develop the condition can be particularly difficult.
I think that the best thing right now is to tell my doctor to definitely test me. Like you said, I'm young, I want to take care of this right away. I'm very happy that I came to see you because now I understand, and I understand the necessity of being prepared. So I really thank you for this information. It's becoming more clear. The picture is getting better.
No problem. We're always here to help if you have any questions regarding. Once you get your testing, I do want you to, take it easy. We want to go ahead and maybe bring your family members if you want to have them do a genetic counseling as well. We're more than welcome to have them here. There's also, I prepared a folder with all the information about what we spoke about, and there's some support groups that you might benefit, and especially your mom, about the genetic testing that is needed and the disease itself. I gave you some pamphlets as well that might not be as clear. If they're not clear enough, you go ahead. I put my number down and you can call me. Okay? We want you to help you cope with your mother's diagnosis and with the disease process of the Lynch syndrome results if you get any. Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate all your time. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.